Welcome everybody to One on One with LeTigress. I am Gabriella LeTigress Devia Allen here to introduce to you some of the players that are going to be competing in HRX Founders Tournament. And of course, our #1 seed, Potpie. Potpie, how you doing today?
Doing fine, thanks.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you, get to learn a bit more about you. A lot of people have seen you throughout many of the tournaments. And my first question for you is, how exactly did you get started playing Hand of the Gods?
Well, I played SMITE since its infancy, really, back in towards the beginning of closed beta with the Minotaurs and all that. That was my first real high-level game that I played. And when I heard Hand of the Gods was coming out, I decided to check it out back in closed alpha. I got a key and I played.
So you've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, since the beginning, pretty much, yeah.
So was it kind of the crossover from SMITE that attracted you to the game originally?
Yeah. Just, I guess the studio, the fact that my laptop can run it, perfect.
Yeah, that always works
And
out.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but even then, you're probably one of the most prominent people in the tournament scene. So having so much experience with all of these, what would you say has been your favorite tournament so far?
My favorite tournament would have to be either Valencia or the final qualifiers for Valencia. The meta back then was the most fun, at least in my opinion, of like all the metas since the beginning of the game. And the games themselves were very tense and like could go either way until the final moment. And compared to like other metas where like aggro metas, say, where the game is decided in the first 10 turns, or tempo metas where if you lose your tempo, then you pretty much lost the game.
So then what's your preferred play style? Do you usually not like aggro?
No, I don't like aggro, I don't like tempo. I prefer mid-range just because of its consistency and the fact that like it just feels so bad not to have something good to play like every turn. That mid-range like helps you almost always have something to do. Maybe it won't be as good as in the early game as an aggro deck, or as good in the late game as a control deck, but you'll always have something to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, but being that you do know who 7 of them are there any players that you would deem that are going to do the best?
Well, there's several players who I think, like, I can't say for each meta, because I've seen players who one meta they might be excel, be the greatest thing, and then one tiny card change and suddenly the deck which they built their greatness upon is no longer valid, and they simply don't know how to adapt to the new playstyle. But I think that a few players who to look out for are Mezelgy, Unscathed, and Striker. All very strong players who I believe who always like innovate. They don't rely on other people's decks, and like whoever won the the last tournament, they just take copy one for one the decks, because I know some people do that. But they innovate, they create their own decks, and usually those decks are just as valid as the more popular meta decks in the scene.
But it's been great speaking to you. I can't wait to meet you in person at HRX, and best of luck in your grind of preparation.
Thank you. It's been nice speaking to you too. I guess I'll see you at HRX.
Yeah, see you then. Everyone watching, thanks for tuning in. We have lots of content for you, and we'll see you at the HRX Founders Tournament.